Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Dental Hygiene Basics podcast. My name is Dana. I'm your host. I'm always excited to be here and to help you on your journey to becoming a registered dental hygienist. So what are we going to be talking about today on the podcast? Today, we are going to be talking about how do you know if you are meant to be a dental hygienist? This was inspired by many different things. You know, I'm floating around, I'm on TikTok now, and I see questions that students are posting. And I see this one question come up a lot. And basically, it's an image. And on one side, it shows a person, walking into a dental hygiene school. And on the other side of the image, it shows a person walking into nursing school or speech language pathology or, dietetics or whatever it may be. And the person is asking, which path should I take? And I just always think it's so nice. I know that they're looking for feedback, and I love the comments that people are putting on there supporting them. Although a lot of the dental hygiene ones are negative. So I'm here to kind of combat that because there is a lot of negativity in this space, but there are many people out there who love their jobs as dental hygienists, and you can be that person as well. But how do you know if you're meant to be a dental hygienist? Because I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, this is a huge choice that I'm about to make. I am about to embark on schooling. I'm going to pay money. I might go into debt. I'm giving up time with my family, my friends to go down this path. And I want to make sure that I choose the right one. The first thing I want to mention is if you're truly having a hard time deciding between two different specialties, you want to get out there and shadow those specialties, right? And talk to people in the field and see it with your own eyes. That's step number one. Step number two, if you're like, man, I could see a future for myself in doing both, just remember that you don't have to choose just one for the rest of your life. We are humans. We're constantly evolving, and the ability to grow and learn and change is incredible. And what you learn in one profession, it will go with you to the next one if you think of it that way, right? If you consider that your skills are transferable. I see a lot of people tossing up between nursing and dental hygiene. And I'm like, if you really aren't sure, maybe after you shadow, if you still think maybe I would want to do both one day, not a problem. You can become a dental hygienist first, work part-time while you return to nursing school, something like that. Like the opportunities are endless. You just have to craft your future, and you have to be able to visualize it and create that path for yourself. Beyond that, though, you may hear stories where people say, I just knew that's what I wanted to do, or I felt called to do that. I've known since I was 3. And there are signs usually on your journey if this is the path that you're supposed to take. I was really inspired to create this podcast episode after another podcast that I heard. I was listening to the Powerhouse Women podcast, and they were hosting Carly Ashworth. She's actually a psychic, which is really interesting to me. And you're probably like, how is that going to tie into what we're talking about here? But really, a lot of what was discussed on this particular episode was your intuition, trusting your intuition. And I think as society, maybe we've lost a little bit of our trust in our own intuition, or I think we've kind of just blocked it, right? We are so distracted all the time by other things, our cell phone, constant messages, social media, emails. There's so much input coming in that we really don't even have the time to pause and think about what your own body is trying to tell you. What kind of input is your own body trying to give you into your life and the decisions that you're making? With that being said, though, life has a way of showing up and putting you on the right path, whether you realize it or not. But you have to think of it in that mindset, or else you're going to constantly be thinking about, oh my gosh, this hurdle, and I had to overcome this, and I'm never going to be able to do that because of this, right? We have to have that mindset that everything is working in our favor. And the path that you're on is leading you in the direction that you should be on. Hopefully not a negative one, right? But all negatives can turn into positives if you take that moment to reflect, be self-aware, and to start listening to your intuition. So anyways, on this podcast, the guest Carly was talking about this concept of the knock, the nudge, and the rhino. And what does that mean? Basically, it's how your intuition tries to signal to you if you're on the right path or if you're on the wrong path, right? So I want to tell you a little story, a little bit about my background and how I became a dental hygienist. It was a long road to get here. And I say my story is long and twisty and windy, and I would not have it any other way. So first things first, I always knew I wanted to go into healthcare. Okay. I thought I was going to be a veterinarian for a while. Like growing up, I loved animals. I still love animals, but I'm like too tenderhearted. I mean, seriously, I can't even look at a hurt animal. It like crushes my soul. So obviously I think I'm in the right path, not going into veterinarian school because I don't think I could tolerate it emotionally. So then I'm like, okay, I'm interested in healthcare. I want to help people. I really like the science. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed that until later on in my schooling, but I really did enjoy that aspect of it. So I thought maybe dentistry. I think there was a time where I thought maybe I would be an orthodontist. I was interested in dermatology. I thought maybe I'll do AIDS research. So I did not think I was going to become a dental hygienist. Like that was not my first thought, since I was 5 years old. But looking back, there were nudges. Okay. So the nudge is a gentle push or an intuition where you first kind of start thinking about something, right? I always had great experiences at the dentist. I actually had my two front teeth knocked out, my baby teeth, when I was 3 years old, and my dad pushed them back in and they stayed in until it was time for them to fall out. But I specifically remember being obsessed with my baby teeth. I had them in a little jar. To some people, that may seem creepy. I don't have them anymore. Honestly, I'm kind of sad about that. But I had them in a little jar and I would look at them. I would take a mirror and look at the back of my front teeth. I was very intrigued with what was growing back there, the calculus, like trying to get it off. But still, that was very early on in my life, like probably I wasn't even 10 yet, thinking and looking at all of these things. So maybe that was a gentle nudge. Maybe it wasn't, but there was an interest there. Okay, moving on. I get into college and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my mom, she said, hey, there's this class at the college and it's a health professions class. Basically, it's just for students like you who are interested in a career in healthcare, but don't know which route to take, right? And they're not sure. So I'm like, that sounds great. So I registered for this class at Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes. That's where I got my undergraduate degree. And in that first year, I took this class and I had a dental hygienist come in and speak to our class. And right away, I was like, yes. And I went to my advisor's office and I said, this is the path I'm going on. What do I got to do? So started taking the prereqs, making sure, I had the shadowing hours. I was on my way, right? That was the nudge or maybe even the knock, right? So the nudge is like a gentle push to your intuition, like, hey, pay attention to this. This is important. And then the knock is like, you can't really ignore it anymore. Okay. So with my knock, I think the knock was being in this class. The hygienist was knocking at the door saying, this is the career for you. So I go on this path to become a dental hygienist. And if you've listened to past episodes, you may know that I applied and I did not get in on my first attempt. And part of the reason why I didn't get in is because I didn't know the process. I still had one outstanding class to take. And I was going to finish that class in time to go on and start. And I knew I was going to do well in the class. I was already performing well. I was on track to get an A. But my school's guidelines said you could not have an outstanding science course. What that means is I had to have that class finished by the time I submitted my application, and I did not. So I received a rejection letter. And that was a learning experience for me, right? Because I paid the application fee. I went through the whole process and I didn't get in. And it was really hard on me. And then I'm asking myself, well, what do I do now for this next year? Funny, this next year, probably took me on the wildest path, really kind of away from really what my destiny was. But I'm glad that I went on this journey because it really just solidified where I was supposed to be. So in that year off, I decided I'm going to go back to Oklahoma State and I'm going to finish my bachelor's and I'm going to apply to dental school. And I was on this path. And let me tell you, it was a blast. I had fun with my friends. I lived up the college life. I was doing all the things. But I was really stressed out. I had this immense pressure on myself. I think it started because I didn't get into dental hygiene school that first time. And I thought, I don't want that to happen again. And I know how competitive these schools are. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to get into dental school. And it was a struggle after struggle after struggle. I struggled with the DAT, which is the test you have to take to get into dental school. I struggled with the classes. I struggled with anxiety, hardcore anxiety. And it just seemed like no matter what I did, I just was really struggling to get my footing. But I kept pushing forward. I kept retrying to take the DAT. I kept applying and applying. And I applied to dental school 3 times and did not get in. So 3 years. So if you're thinking about my journey from the first time I applied to dental hygiene school at age 19, now we're fast forwarding. I'm about age 23, 24. And I still feel like, oh my gosh, how am I moving forward? Like I feel like I've been stuck trying for this goal for so long. So I decided, and I feel like a lot of things were happening. I was actually working as a dental hygiene assistant. So I was assisting a dental hygienist. And I think I started getting those feelings again of, maybe I should try for dental hygiene school again. And really what I thought big picture was I'm going to apply to dental hygiene school. And, then hopefully I will go on and get into dental school. That's really what I thought would happen. But I think the Rhino in the room, right? We have the nudge, the knock, the Rhino. The nudge were those little early inklings, that interest in my teeth, wanting to see, like, in my mouth with my mirror. I think that was the nudge. The knock was that first moment in that classroom where I thought, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. But the Rhino was really the Rhino busting in was really a Rhino standing in front of the doorway for me to get into dental school. And at the time, I took it all out on myself. I thought, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be good enough. What's wrong with me? And really, there was a Rhino standing in my way because it needed to force me through the door of dental hygiene, because that's where I was supposed to be. Maybe not the entire time, but once I got there, it was very obvious to me. So finally, I get into dental hygiene school. Remember, my journey started at 19. I'm 25 years old by the time I start my first day of dental hygiene school. And I didn't graduate until I was 27 years old, which to some of you may think that's young, because I know there are people who are applying for dental hygiene school in their 30s, 40s, 50s. And I just want to tell you, like, if you feel that calling, if you've had those nudges or those knocks on the door, or there's a Rhino you feel like just shoving you in the direction of your dream, then you are meant to be a dental hygienist. And what I just want to end with is our vision of what it means to be a dental hygienist. It's okay for that vision to evolve and change and grow with you as you grow through your career. There are hygienists out there who decide to go back to nursing school. And guess what they're taking with them? All of that oral health knowledge, and they're going to use that to make their patients' lives better. There are dental hygienists out there who go on to become speech language pathologists or myofunctional therapists or social media content creators sharing about oral health, or who knows what else. I mean, you've probably heard so many stories on my podcast of amazing things that dental hygienists do. But at the core of what we do as dental hygienists is we care for people. We strive to make them healthier. But most importantly, we care about patients. That's what we're here for, right? And that is going to come out in so many different ways. For me, it's through education. I like to help the students. I want the students to feel as empowered, and I want them to feel confident, and I want them to make it through this journey with their head held high, knowing they're going to overcome hurdles and it's going to be difficult. But when they come out on the other side, they feel confident and ready to take care of their patients. And through me helping you, you're going to go help tons of patients. And that is a big part of why I do what I do. So I want to tell you now, if you feel like maybe the Rhino is in your way or it's shoving you down this path and you feel lost, or maybe you feel like I've been going through so much trying to become a dental hygienist, I just keep hitting hurdle after hurdle, I want you to know that that's what we're here for you for. If you take a look in the show notes, there is a link to how to overcome dental hygiene hurdles. And I wrote this especially for you, wherever you're at in your journey, whether you're applying, whether you're in school, whether you're about to graduate, doesn't matter. We are all going to hit a hurdle at some point, and I want you to know that you can overcome it, and we're here to help you. So thank you so much for listening today. If you feel that nudge, if you've gotten the knock on the door, if you feel like the Rhino is just shoving you in the direction to become a dental hygienist, listen to your intuition and don't be afraid. Nothing in your journey is ever a mistake. It's just putting you on the path that you're supposed to be on. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. It's okay to turn. Just know that everything is happening for you, not against you. All right. Best of luck on your journey, future registered dental hygienist. Have an amazing, amazing day. See you on the next episode.